Invitation. He's here despite his hectic schedule, and he's had a long journey last night, and I hope his stay was comfortable. And this is a galaxy of Imam Husain warriors, I would say. And they can't be better than this, a mixture of the Holy Shrine, Imam Husain Islam, Holy Shrine Abul Fazl, Imam Husain TV, and we have a doctor from London, and media department, and you. Sir, Mr. Saad, Mr. Talal, the youth here who are all assembled have been helping me day in and day out, and also the ladies in organizing this Hussein Day. It is a team effort which is being done, and how it is being done, I myself don't know, believe me. It just happens. And inshallah, we all request to pray for three things. One, it should not rain. That's most important because the forecast is bad. Two, it should go successfully, and three, it should go peacefully. Inshallah, it will. Because Hazrat Abul Fazl Abbas al-Islam is with us, and Imam Zamana is our leader, and he's one of us here today. Now, I'm also blessed with good friends, good family, and good youngsters, and Anjuman Sugra and other ones who are here. And especially I would like to mention one lady, Miss Shamshad Begum. Though she cannot come, she's come on a wheelchair. That goes to show her commitment, and I hope, we all pray that she can walk on her own very soon, inshallah. And not to discredit other ladies and other girls who are here. And here, this is a very small gathering. We have not invited anybody. It's only a word of mouth. My friends, family. That's how it is. The group, family, sisters, mothers, wives are here. It is a very simple gathering. And now, with the permission of everybody here, may I request Dr. Syed Ammar Naqshwani to say a few words of wisdom. Everybody is looking forward to you. Thank you.
Let's have a salawat a bit louder. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Firstly, I'm really humbled and honored by this opportunity to be here. Friends, I haven't seen Dr. Al-Amin for a while, so it's great to see him sitting next to me over here. And as well, Dr. Kaki sitting over here, who's done so much good work with the Who is Hussein campaign. And to fly in people from Karbala, it's always a good free holiday for them as well. To come over here and also enjoy the sights of India at the same time as share their experiences as well. I don't really want to say much, I don't want to take too much of your time. I hope that there could be more of a discussion and open Q&A rather than a monologue which everybody's used to. But suffice for me to say that on the 10th of Muharram, there was that famous cry of Imam Hussein, is there any helper to help us? And I think all of us are the ones who are replying back by saying, in one way or the other, labbaik. We're all saying, here we are. And as we see that even in the ziyarah of our 12th Imam, for Imam Hussein on the 15th of Sha'ban, if my body could not be there to help you, and my tongue could not be there to support you, then know that my heart is alongside you. We were not at Karbala, we could not have helped Imam Hussein at that time. But suffice for us to at least be here and try and do this work. Allah Sultan, may Allah bless you for this fantastic effort of yours. I'm really looking forward to seeing what takes place tomorrow. You don't have to worry about anything I'm going to say. You're not going to have a heart attack after I finish my lecture. So don't worry about anything there. I'm not going to be too controversial. But I've been to Mumbai and Bangalore. It's my first time over here, and really is a pleasure to be here. And I'm honored to be with such fantastic company. And I look forward to my interactions with all of you, inshallah. So thank you all so much. Assalamu alaikum. If you would like, we can take a couple of questions.
We'll have a question and answer session. Some young girl can come forward and take the mic on. Just raise your hand and you can ask the question. Raise your hand. Please hold.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Dr. Shahnaz Khalili, and I would like to thank on behalf of Bangalore for this fantastic opportunity, and thank Allah Subhanahu and his family for making this happen. My question is that in today's world, could you advise us on one specific area of focus that we could look at to change the way we feel about ourselves, or the pride our youth and our children imbibe in our identity? This is very important as we are all, working across the world.
Sure, it's a fantastic question, and I think it's important for our youth to understand that the Imams that we revere of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam are Imams who are revered by non-Muslims as well. If it was only a case that Imam Husain alayhi salam was revered by fellow Muslims, then someone would wonder, do others really appreciate the principles and the stand of Imam Husain alayhi salam? When you're looking at the Ahlul Bayt, you'll find that there are non-Muslims out there who have admired their work, have admired their courage, have admired their bravery. And I think many of us don't realize just how universal figures they are. There is that famous saying that's attributed to Gandhi, where he says, I learned how to achieve victory while oppressed through Imam Husain alayhi salam. And so I think for our youth, rather than looking at the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam as 14 Arabs who came at a certain time, it's important for them to realize that these are personalities who would be revered by all human beings, irrespective of whether they're Muslims or non-Muslims. I think this is something fundamental, because I think recently there has been a trend where some people are like, well, we, the Shia, love these people, but do others really know about them? You look at the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen onwards, you'll find that so many non-Muslims have admired them, have admired, their courage and their principles and their stand. And I think with campaigns like Who is Husain, other campaigns, you're seeing a group of youths who I know very well in London, and who actually consulted with me right at the beginning of their work. It's a group of youths in London, not in Iraq, not in Iran, not in Lebanon, not in Syria. These are people in London who thought to themselves that, well, there are all these advertising boards and billboards with adverts for perfumes, for house projects, for businesses. Why don't we put an advert up there about Imam Husain alayhi salam? They were innovative. They thought out of the box, and they thought that we shouldn't cocoon Imam Husain alayhi salam just to our Husainiyas or our Imam Bargas, but rather take him out so the world learns about him. And such initiatives are fantastic. Others have done blood donation drives. Others have given out bottles of water in the name of Imam Husain alayhi salam. So I think making the youth feel that they are part of the Husayni message is also fundamental. Not making the mosques only be run by people who are in my dad's generation, but rather making that youth feel that they have a voice in the Muharram programs and the Safar programs. And in the same way we had Qasims and Ali al-Akbars, and we had other young personalities at Karbala, it goes to show you that an army has to be made up of the experienced and of the youth as well, inshallah.
I'm Asifa here, Mother Sultan's sister. There are 1,24,000 prophets, but why God has selected only Jesus Christ to read namaz on the day of Qiyamah behind Sahib Zaman?
Why Christ leads Salah behind Imam Sahib Zaman is not actually on Qiyamah. He is before Qiyamah. Yes. Secondly, Christ is not the only prophet of God who is in Ghaibah. There is an opinion, Khidr is in Ghaibah, for example, some may say. Others argue Idris is in Ghaibah, for example. There are other prophets who are mentioned as being in Ghaibah as well. Normally there are 4 that are mentioned. And so it's not something unique to Jesus, son of Mary. You've got to think about those other prophets, for example, who are also in a state of occultation as well. But if we're going to try and look at God's wisdom, looking at the world today, 2.5 billion people either believe in Jesus or Muhammad. Do you agree? So when it's going to come down towards the end, it's going to come to really a discussion between Islam and Christianity. And so when Nabi Isa alayhi salam returns, it's going to be a fundamental for him to be able to elaborate on the fact that he does not, for example, preach the Trinity, and that he was one who preached in the oneness of God, did not say he was the Son of God. And when you're looking at Christianity, it is the largest religion in the world. So Nabi Isa still has a fundamental role to play before the day of judgment. But that is not to deny that there aren't other prophets of Allah who we cannot see, but also have a fundamental role to play.
There's a one question that there's always behind the mind, and we don't know how to answer that. It's always said that Imam of the time is going to come soon. So we don't know how soon that is. But how do we plan and prepare for that? That we think that he's with us currently, and we are working, making an effect to join his army in current times, and just not keep waiting for him. What can we do currently? Why we? That's the question.
Well, look at the movements of his great-grandfather, the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, his family. The Holy Prophet, peace be upon his family, what was his movement? It was a movement to speak out for the oppressed, to speak out against injustice, to try and build a world in which there is tolerance of difference of opinion. And I think if we can build a world, or seek to build an environment, where we speak out for those who are being abused, those who are being oppressed, those who are being unjustly treated, that in turn is working for the Imam of the time. The Imam of the time is not coming for the Muslim community. The Imam of the time is coming for the whole world, in the same way his grandfather was a rahmah lil alameen. He is also coming as a mercy to mankind. And I think it's fundamental that we seek to help. If you're in Bangalore, you should seek to help the Hindus in Bangalore, you should seek to help all the non-Muslims here. That is the movement, that is what is known as a true Mahdi movement. Likewise, in your ziyarah of the Imam, Assalamu alayka ya sahib al-asr wa zaman, Assalamu alayka ya Khalifat al-Rahman, Assalamu alayka ya Sharika. I think that's an area we're lacking. Shia, when it comes to Quran, we're very much lacking. Our love for Ahlul Bayt is amazing. إني تارك فيكم الثقلين. Did it just say Ahlul Bayt alone? Or Kitab Allah wa? We have to build our relationship with the Quran. If he is Sharik al-Quran, we have to ask ourselves, how close is our relationship with the Quran? I remember discussing with a few brothers earlier today for lunch. And I've said this before in a lecture. I said, ask the Shia world. You can even ask these sitting over here, sitting alongside me, all these powerful personalities. Ask them, ask the Shia world to name you the first 10 surahs of the Quran. Fatiha, Baqarah, Al Imran. No. You know? Nisa, well, you should say Nisa. And then after Nisa, Ma'idah, An'am, we start moving on to A'raf, Anfal, Tawbah, Unfortunately, the first 10 surahs of the Holy Quran, many Shia don't know. Now, if I'm going to be with Sharik al-Quran, so my relationship with the Quran has to build up. If he's the partner of the Quran, I have to begin to reassess my relationship with the Quran. So on a practical level, I should build a world, which is a world similar to the world of his great-grandfather, where I speak up for the rights of the oppressed and those who are unjustly treated. But on a spiritual level, I think our relationship with the Quran has to improve if we want to be alongside Sharik al-Quran.
My name is Husain. I have two questions for you.
Sure.
One is that, can you tell us a little bit about your own journey, because you are very you're an icon today, and at the same time my children are here, so I'd like to hear for them to hear a little bit of how you came to be who you are, because for a lot of us, the panelists, for instance, are all very inspirational, and one assumes one could never be there. So I think because of that, I'd like to hear a little bit about that. And the second question is that how does one divide our time in today's world? Most of us work and we have families in a manner that will do justice to most of the things that are important, our families, our religious duties, and so on.
Sure. Well, firstly, whatever I've achieved in my life is all because of the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, I don't want to be a Qarun and say that all of it comes from me. You know, all of it is from the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the prayers of my parents. And the blessings of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. You know, whatever success has been achieved is me copying and pasting Imam Husain's words. It's not my own thoughts, you know, I'm taking from the Ahlul Bayt. But I would say that growing up in London, we grew up at a time where, for myself personally, you would see that the mosques, the lectures were mainly in the Arabic language. We were a generation that grew up speaking English. And we felt that we couldn't really relate to some of the people who were leading our mosques. You know, if the Mawlana in your mosque speaks, just for example, Urdu, or the Mawlana speaks Arabic, or the Mawlana speaks Farsi, but your kids are all speaking English at home, they're not going to relate to the Mawlana. And the Mawlana who leads the mosque has to be one of them. هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم. The Prophet has to be from amongst them. You can't bring someone who can't relate to them. يأكل الطعام يمشي في الأسواق. He eats what you eat. He walks where you walk. There was this relatability issue that was fundamental. It was missing in London. Now, when it was missing, now what do you do about it? You can either complain. You know, you can either say, well, because there's no lectures catering for us, we're never going to come back to the mosques again. Or what you begin to do is you begin yourself to try and say, okay, let's try and change things. Why not begin to give talks at a very basic level of knowledge? I have no intention at that time when I began, no intention that one day you will reach where you are today, or you're going to sit on the Mambar of Ahlul Bayt, or you're going to be who you are. The intention was a pure intention that there is youth in our community who we can give back to. And we can give back to them by giving very simple lectures about the lives of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. And we began a small movement. You know, there was a number of youth organizations in London. Dr. Amin was involved, others were involved. There were a number of youth organizations that were trying, that even though they may have come from a different generation, they all had sons, they had daughters, they wanted to cater for them. And each in their own way were trying to do something. And we began also an organization called the Tayyari movement. And what we would have is Friday night lectures every single week. And these Friday night lectures began with, you know, 15, 20 people. You know, today people see you lecturing in front of thousands and they imagine that's how you begin. No, you begin with 15, 20 in front of you, but then God opens the doors. 15, 20 people is what we began with. Suddenly that became 40, that became 18, that became 100. We had, you know, people coming, and now I had to make a decision. My aim was to become, you know, a top shot lawyer, you know, with a penthouse and a Ferrari. And then I had to make a decision that do I continue with that career or do I serve Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam? There is one scholar in London, which many of you in India will know, especially people of Mumbai, said Muhammad al-Musawi. And I remember Maulana Musawi in Mumbai, he was in London, and I sat with him, I said to Maulana, I have a big contract from a law firm, I can go on to become a lawyer now. But I feel that my voice can serve Imam Husain alayhi salam. But I'm worried about my rizq, will I earn, will God bless me, sustain me? And he said to me, do you think the person who serves Imam Husain, Allah will not look after their rizq? And I never forget that line. It's a very important line in my life. And from there I went on to continue to do my studies. Now this isn't a job for the faint-hearted, as they say. For as many people that love you, there are people who may loathe you. It's a job full of envy. آفة العلماء الحسد. Disease of the ulama is hasad. I'm sure all of these are people of ghibta, not hasad, but you know, it's a job full of hasad. Especially if you're the top, they all want your position and fame, but they claim that they want taqwa. So, you know, it's a job you have to be quite strong in, but if you're doing it for Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, and you're serving Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, then Ahlul Bayt will open the doors for you. Well, the first time someone comes and tells you that you've affected them, that is the greatest achievement you can have. That you change someone's life. Whatever comes after that is a bonus. Recently, this young speaker came to me. He said to me, Sayyidina, I've been lecturing, but I only get 50 people in my crowd, 60. How do I get, a big crowd one day? I said, 50, 60 is good. You got 12 less than Imam Husain. It's not bad. Imam Husain 72 at Karbala. If you got 60, you're not doing too bad. So, if a person is looking for quantity of people in their crowds, they've missed the whole point. We began in basements in London, in rooms, and on a Tuesday, wet, windy, rainy night. And alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened the doors, hopefully because there was some sincerity in the work that was done. But without Ahlul Bayt, I am absolutely nothing. Everything is from Ahlul Bayt, whatever I've achieved. And for your kids, I think for your kids, they shouldn't aim to be like me, they should aim to be even better. There's no limit to what they can achieve, inshallah. Sorry, just in terms of the second question, that is about balance. And really, it's all about balance. We don't want someone sitting in the mosque 24 hours a day, nor do we want someone who only comes to the mosque in Ashura. We want a nice balance. A balance between one's family life, which is fundamental. A balance between earning a living, which is ibadah. And the third balance, which is a general title, I would say, which is education, whether it's in the mosque, whether it's at home, gaining closeness to Ahlul Bayt. And the fourth quarter of this whole circle, I think, would be community. That's important, giving back towards the community. And if a person can balance their family life, their education, community service, and earning an income, I think those four are fundamental. You look at the prophets of Allah. Nabi Idris alayhi salam was a tailor. Musa, shepherd. Isa, carpenter. The Holy Prophet, peace be upon his family, even he worked. All of them would earn a living. Religiosity is not to stay at home and be a zahid who stays at home the whole day and doesn't do any work. Earn a living. But don't forget those who are the reason you're so blessed. There are many who come in Ashura, but on the Shahada of Imam al-Jawad, the numbers are few. The Shahada of Imam al-Askari, the numbers are few. But the Shahada of Imam al-Husain, the numbers are great. We should ensure that our allegiance to Ahlul Bayt means that we never let go of the mosques, never let go of lectures on their programs. And even if the kids have got school the next day, that shouldn't be an excuse. Come with me to the mosque. You're going to sleep in the mosque. Let the kids become accustomed to the love of Ahlul Bayt. That is wonderful.
Assalamu alaikum. And I just wanted to know that what is the importance of women in Islam today? Because what today we know about Imam Hussain is the main importance was given to Bibi Zainab when she came and she has told us about Imam Hussain. So what is the role of today's woman in today's world?
Bibi Zainab is not a role model for women.
For everybody.
For men and women.
Yes.
Just because she's a woman, she shouldn't be a role model for women. Too many times, there's two mistakes we make with Sayyidah Zainab and with Fatima Zahra alayhi salam. Two mistakes. First mistake, Fatima is great. Why? Because she's the daughter of Muhammad. So what? Who cares? Abu Lahab is the uncle of Rasulullah. So what? Fatima, as Ali Shari'ati said, Fatima is Fatima. She's great because of who she is, not because of her husband, not because of her father. Too many Mawlanas sit on member. Fatima is Zahra, big Fatima, Zawjat Ali. So what? Fatima is great because of what Fatima achieves. Politically, socially, and in terms of her spirituality. Politically, فَمَنْ حَاجَّكَ فِيهِ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَكَ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ فَقُلْ تَعَالَوْا نَدْعُ أَبْنَاءَنَا وَأَبْنَاءَكُمْ وَنِسَاءَنَا وَنِسَاءَكُمْ. In a political event like Mubahala, Allah orders, not Rasulullah. Allah orders, take your woman at the front of the religion of Islam, not at the back. And not, so at the front of the religion to meet who? To meet those who aren't mahram to her. She's going to meet the Christian priests of Najran. Quran said, bring Fatima to the front. Fatima's knowledge, as Doctor just mentioned, at that famous khutbah, the Fadakiyah, listen to the sermon of Fatima Zahra and that. It's not just a sermon which is talking about, as some mentioned, this is about Waratha, Fadak, and the knowledge is impeccable. The way she describes God is unique. The way the ayahs of the Quran come out. Waratha Sulaiman Dawood, number 1. Habli min ladunka waliya, with Zakaria and Yahya, number 2. كتب عليكم إذا حضر أحدكم الموت إن ترك خيرا الوصية للوالدين والأقربين بالمعروف. Surah Al-Baqarah, Surah 2, verse 180. One ayah after another, Fatima. Zainab emulates Fatima. Zainab not only balances her marital life with her worship, she's married to Abdullah, the son of Ja'far al-Tayyar, there's a nice family environment. She also does tafsir of the Holy Quran. Ladies come to listen to her majalis. She's giving back educationally, but also politically she's active. And it's a woman in Islam. Who said a woman in Islam should remain in the house? A woman in Islam, her role is to serve society. Service of society can come by teaching. Service of society can come by giving social care, medical care. And look at her in front of Yazid. That political strength that is there, that I'll stand up in front of you. Although the blight has made me speak to you. I find speaking to you of little value, but scolding you is great. Therefore I'll continue to scold you. The eyes are tearful, the heart is sorrowful. How ironic it is that the members of the party of Allah are killed by the members of the party of Shaitan. She destroys it. And so I think if you're going to translate it today, we need more women in our communities who are MPs in the Indian government, representing, alhamdulillah, Pakistan, a woman reached the top. Bangladesh, a woman reached the top. India, a woman reached the top. And likewise, we need more women to reach the top of the political circles. I think that is something very fundamental. And we need more women who are in the younger age groups, with all due respect. When I say younger, those who have just got married, maybe they've got a couple of kids, should come back into the community and teach those younger than them. It's a big difference if a teacher is 60 and a teacher is 30. If I'm 16 or I'm 14 and my teacher's 30, I can relate more. If my teacher's 60, 65, as good as they are, there's still a gap generation-wise. And I think we need more of our women to come back into our communities. Because sometimes when you get married, you fall into that streak where it's just like, I'm too busy, I'm too busy. It's not. You can get time if you want. We can all watch a film for 2 hours. We'll go out shopping for 6 hours. We get ready for a wedding. A woman can get ready for a wedding from 6 weeks before. So what I'm saying is, with all of that, I think my generation, my mom's generation, and then they already done a lot of amazing work, establishing a lot of the Husainiyas and Imam Barkas that we have. They've done great work. But I think in my generation, I think there's a bit too many who are falling in that trap of I'm busy, but you tell me the next wedding, I'll be ready. Yeah, I think we have to maybe balance the books. Enjoy as many weddings as you want, no doubt. But the same effort you put for that, put to give back to the service of Ahlul Bayt. Same amount of time it takes you to go holiday shop, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, come back, prepare, come back, get ready. All we're asking is 1 hour a week, teach the kids Quran. 1 hour a week, teach them about the history, Tariq, all of these different areas of Ahlul Bayt's lives. And you know what, I always say, the woman in our community, lot more loyal to Ahlul Bayt and committed than the men, by the way. The men have got their own lecture, inshallah, coming up soon. But with the woman, the passion for learning is amazing. I'm no one to preach to you, but these are just some guidelines I can help you with.
Last question. Last question. One question.
I have an
Wanna go?
room in my house. I read the
Tila?
I read Quran. But everyone tells me I should keep an alarm in the house.
Yes.
Is it by not keeping an alarm, does my love for Elibet becomes less, or am I doing anything wrong by not keeping an alarm?
I don't know who says such things. Why would someone's love for Ahlul Bayt diminish if you have an alam or you don't have an alam? Alam is a symbol that reminds us of Abul Fadl. It reminds us of his stand at Karbala. You want to keep on, keep on. You don't want to keep on, you don't keep on. Simple. There is no harm. If a person keeps an alim in their house, there's barakah. And if a person has not kept an alim, there's no harm whatsoever. No issue, don't worry. Let's focus on, malnutrition and people who have cancer and things like that, than focusing on how many alims we have. Yes?
My name is Zaki Khalili. We've talked so much about the philosophy of our belief, but we lack something of a movement that will help train the trainer to bring these 30-year-old teachers to teach my 16-year-old son.
Sure.
He comes to the mosque, he cannot follow the language, the level of discourse, nor can he relate to the person, as you said. So encompassing everything that you said, the movement from people at your end who have the will and the ability is to put something together that we can really relate to icons like you, so that the kids could come and be able to talk to them in the same language, which is just not possible. Even I find it difficult to be at the Imam Bargah and listen to it.
Yeah.
Our projection, our discourse, and the delivery is, 200 years behind time.
What? Yes. So the question here, the question is about the different methods, which we will look at. Remember, our community is an evolving community. The community that we have is an evolving community. Many Shia became Shia in 1979. Let's just remember that. Many Shia became Shia, which year? 1979. So really, we're a 35-year-old, 40-year-old, one may argue, community that's been awoken. And so now we're evolving into our needs, into our different criteria, our different barometers of success. 15 years ago, if you said there will be English majalis, I think it's something would have been unheard of, English lectures, 15 years ago. Now today, English is as popular as anything, that even people like my father enjoy listening to the English more than they enjoy listening to even the languages they speak at home. And there is a number of speakers who are being trained to come and be able to relate to people like your son's age or your children's age. But let's not forget, lectures is only one part of education. There is another part of education which is also sending them on ziyarah, for example. We take groups on ziyarah to Karbala and Najaf. 70–80% of the group is under 35 years of age. Ziyarah to Karbala and Najaf 30 years ago, well not 30, let's say 10 years ago, or more to the case, Hajj 30 years ago, used to be only people who weren't their elders. Now the youth are going. Sending one's sons and daughters on ziyarah groups where they can relate to the speaker, I think is something very important. It shouldn't just be that they learn in majalis. They should be able to go to these ziyarah groups. And there are many ziyarah groups out there where the main speaker is an English speaker, they can relate to him. Instead of going to Karbala and just picking up the Mafatih al-Jinan and Salaam alaikum, Salaam alaikum, Salaam, without knowing what we're saying, then there are these groups which are now explaining every step. We at Spiritual Journeys, for example, we go to Maytham al-Tammar, give the whole biography of Maytham. If we go to Kumail bin Ziyad, we give his whole biography. If we go, for example, to any of the other companions, we go to Masjid al-Kufa, Jami al-Kufa, give the whole history of it. That's the second method of learning, which one has to exploit. That let my sons or my daughters go on ziyarah, but with a kafila, where they enjoy the company of the people with them. Thirdly, my dear brother, and finally, retreats. I think there should be more camps and spiritual retreats. Meaning what? Meaning that outside of the Husainiyah, in Bangalore, for example, or in other parts of India, there might be a nice resort. A place where there's a swimming pool there, a place where, for example, you can enjoy, relax. You send a couple of people who they could relate to on a camp or a spiritual retreat, this changes their lives. And I think that there are initiatives in the Western world which welcome people from India, which welcome people from Africa, to go towards those parts of the world. your sons, 14, 16 years old. Hassan Rajab Ali, for example, he has a fantastic initiative in Detroit, Michigan. Kids from around the world go to his camp and they're able to benefit for 2 weeks over there, a mix of fun and a mix of enjoyment as well. So there are different things that are happening. Just give it a bit of time. We're slowly all evolving together, inshallah. Thank you all so much. Thank you. We'll take that as the final one.
Actually, we're going to have one more ladies' session in Imamia Manzil. I think there you can continue the questions, whatever you want to ask. Or
That one might be a 12-hour majlis. It won't be a 2-hour.
because now we have to go to the venue, and the media department want to set up their own stall, and Mr. Sayyid Saad also has some plans there. So we have to go to the venue before it gets dark. So the ladies who want to ask the question, definitely you'll have the chance in Imamia Manzil. If you don't mind. If you insist, you can ask. Up to you. Madam? One question? Okay. Very last question. Last. This is the last.
She's related to you.
No. She's not related.
Assalamualaikum. I'm Anis from Anjuman Sabra. I think maybe because of that he's done this to me. See, I just want to ask you one question, because in the month of Muharram, everybody wants to have majlis in their house and with lots of tabarruk, with lots of money they spend on tabarruk, morning, evening, afternoon, and they want to do it with their heart, they are very much wanting to do that. But sometimes the question comes from our own circle that instead of spending so much of money on tabarruk, why don't you build one school or one hospital or something for the community's children? So how do we justify that? I don't know what answer should we give to that.
I have this answer.
Okay, Maulana, you answer.
I humbly request her not to relate the spending on the tabarruk to education to this.
Both can
Why?
be balanced. Just to answer the question, firstly, there is a great thawab in giving food in the name of the Ahlul Bayt. This was begun when Ja'far al-Tayyar died at the Battle of Moscow. And Muslims was very sad after what happened. So Father Zahra cooked food and gave it out in honor of Ja'far's shahad. So from there was a barakah in giving out niyaz. Now, be careful when you give out niyaz in Muharram. It shouldn't be to cover the sins for the year. People love to do things in Muharram to absolve them of their haram the whole year. So I do mektam because I've been a bad person this year. So let me get some tawaf on the mektam. Or I'll do a majlis at home where I'm going to talk about Zainab, but I have no intention of wearing the hijab of Zainab. But you know what? Zainab, sad story. What we need is that to be transforming our lives. If you're going to cook food for Imam and Husain, there are some people who cook for Imam and Husain. They will not go inside the majlis. Their excuse, I am a servant of Abu Abdullah. I am one of the Khaddam and Husain. No. Go inside and learn. I remember sitting with Ayatollah Sistani on one occasion. He said a person who serves Imam and Husain 1 year, the following year shouldn't. If you serve by cooking in the kitchen or doing the car park or standing at the door 1 year, the next year don't. The next year sit in the majlis and learn. Otherwise you start making excuses. I cannot be in the majlis because I have to cook. The cook becomes a gossip session for an hour. Cigarette, Maulana's boring. I can't be bothered listening to him. So let's just chill out for an hour. But we are serving Imam Hussain. This Khadim al-Hussain should not be abused as a title. A Khadim al-Hussain is one who's always constantly learning, looking to learn and educate and get closer to Imam Hussain. Not do things which absolve them of other things. So as Agha mentioned, there should be a balance. Give out food, and also at the same time help out those who are in need.
That's it.
Have a nice balance between the two.
That's it.
Thank you.
May I thank Sayyid Shawani for his excellent review and answers and experience as well about how he started and how he gets to what he has reached right now. I want to mention two things in addition to what he said. Educating and training the youth is being thought about deeply, and I can tell you right now, Sayyidatullah Sistani has built and established 3 schools in Najaf only for the youth talking English and learning the knowledge and being a speaker in English. And you can benefit from that. And one of the schools been opened about 2 months ago, which is Sayyid Kashmiri school. And the first one was Najmullah Amma, and I can't remember the name of the third one. The second thing I want to say, speakers not only, excellent speakers in English, not only males. We have got excellent women, young sisters speakers, and they have an